everybody. Just connecting live with you to say hi. I was just finishing up an event that I did in my community. So I had my camera ready, so I thought I would come in and say hi with everybody. If you're here, please say hi. And if you have any questions for me, I'm Julie Bjelland. I'm a psychotherapist and I specialize in the trait of high sensitivity. I'm also the founder of the Sensitive Empowerment Community, and I teach 2 online courses for highly sensitive people to help you really thrive in the world. So that's my mission, is to support you. How can you reduce the challenges of sensitivity? How can you thrive? I know so many people are experiencing a lot of stress right now in the world, and it often impacts highly sensitive people even more so. And I tell you, if I didn't have tools that I have, I think it would be a really, really hard time. And I know a lot of you are out there having a hard time. And I just want you to know that there's resources and support for you. Hi, Nikki. Wonderful. Glad you're here. And if you guys have questions for me about the trait or how to thrive as an HSP with this trait, or how to reduce your challenges of a sensitive nervous system, anything like that, Nikki has a question. Wonderful. Any advice on how to handle overstimulation for a stay-at-home mom of a 2.5-year-old twins? One is also an HSP and a 12-year-old that is married to soon to be separated from a narcissistic husband who is emotionally unavailable and unsupportive. Well, first of all, Nikki, that sounds really hard, and I'm really sorry that you're going through that. The fact that you're here asking the question just really shows me that you have a lot of inner strength, and that's something to hold on to recognize that there actually is a lot of resiliency inside of you. I know that a lot of sensitive people don't realize how resilient we are, but we've been developing tools our whole life because we're sensitive people and we've had to. So a lot of my work involves helping you sort of access that strength and that resiliency. I hope that you have some support, because that's an important part of being able to thrive, is when you're going through something really hard, is to have some support for you, whether it's working with a therapist, a coach, healer, joining my Sensitive Empowerment Community, listening to my HSP podcast. I have a lot of episodes on that talk about how to really increase our tools and our strength during this time especially. And I also have a free a directory of HSP therapists, healers, and coaches on my website. You can go to Sensitive Connection to see all that. I've actually had, ultimately, if you can do it, my highest recommendation is to take one of my courses. If you are unable to do that, a lot of HSPs have shared with me that my blog, hspblog.com, and my podcast, hsppodcast.com, have been huge supports to them during this time. I actually share my life as a sensitive person and how I thrive. I've been through some really hard times in my life, and I think that, and just being so high up on my sensitivity scale, that's a challenge. And so I wouldn't be able to do anything. I wouldn't be able to help other people and run my business and do everything that I'm doing if I hadn't have learned these tools. So it has a lot to do with learning how to manage and balance a sensitive nervous system. And there are specific things that you can do that support that. And the reason why it's important to look at resources that have to do specifically with people who have this trait is because our experience is very different. We have brain differences. Our nervous system is different. So a lot of the material that's out in the world is really created for the 80%. And that doesn't work for those of us that are very high up on that scale. If you're interested in finding out your number, that's actually a free quiz on my website too, a sensitivity quiz. And again, everything can be found at sensitiveconnection.com. So Nikki, I hope you have the support. I found that also in my Sensitive Empowerment Community, for anybody that is feeling like they need extra support, I'm in that community every day, and we do live events every week. Just did a live event just now, and we're going to do another one on Thursday. And then, like I said, I'm there every day supporting and guiding and teaching. It's just helping you really learn how to thrive as a sensitive person, especially if you're going through difficult stressors on top of everything that's going on in the world. I found that HSPs thrive the most when really three things. One is to learn everything you can about this trait. And as I said, I have tons of information on my website that will help you really understand the trait. It's important to understand why you experience things the way that you do, and to know that there's things that you can do. I'm really into brain training because that's something that's helped me a lot and thousands of HSPs around the world, because there's actually things that you can do that deactivate stress centers and activate calming centers. And wow, is that helpful right now? So definitely read through. Like my top priority would be if you could take one of my courses, both of my courses, Brain Training for the Highly Sensitive Person, Techniques to Reduce Anxiety and Overwhelming Emotions. That one really helps people who are having a lot of time with anxiety or high stress that you're having a hard time managing. And we actually teach you how to bypass the limbic system activation to be able to reduce stress. And most HSPs share with me that within the first week or two of that program, they already start to feel better. It's self-paced, it's online, it's really easy to go through. 1 week at a time. It's an 8-week program, and it comes with free access to the sensitive empowerment community. So it's a really great program if you are really struggling and need that extra support. And once you develop these tools, it's really kind of amazing because they stick with you, and you can actually teach your children these tools too. I absolutely love that, especially if you have a sensitive child. I love seeing parents learn these tools so that they can teach their children and teens these tools too. Okay, Nikki says, I did sign up for one of your courses about a month ago, but I still haven't started it. Oh, this would be a good time to start it. I know that you probably feel incredibly overwhelmed right now, and the idea of starting a course probably feels like too much. But I tell you, it is so worth it. It's a week at a time. It is not overwhelming. I'm an HSP, so I created these courses in a way where they are not overwhelming, and instead they are very supportive. So definitely get started. I don't know which one you signed up for. If you signed up for the brain training one, my newest one is called Blooming Brilliantly, Understanding and Loving Who You Are as a Sensitive Person. That's a great one to take after the brain training one, because it teaches you how to develop healthy boundaries, which helps us have healthier relationships. It teaches us, it also has, I interview some other HSP practitioners, and we learn about, there's a naturopathic doctor that we will learn a lot about our nervous system. That's really helpful. She's an HSP. She gives really great natural tips to support your sensitive nervous system, to improve your health and really mind, body, spirit. We've got a naturopath. I already said that. We have an herbalist. She actually shares 3 herbs that are supportive for sensitive people, especially if we're experiencing a lot of stress. And then we have a psychologist, and they're all HSPs. We have a psychologist in that course also that teaches us about Bach flower remedies that a lot of HSPs have found really helpful for calming the system. And in general, there's so much information to learn. You can learn about both courses at hspcourse.com. And it really is the fastest way to feel better. It teaches you tools right away. And like I said, and I've put them on sale because I know a lot of people are struggling financially right now. And I offer a lot of scholarships through my newsletter. So hopefully you're signed up for the newsletter. And you can go to sensitiveconnection.com to really see everything I'm talking about and sign up for the newsletter. And every week I send out free material in the newsletter that is really there to sort of support you through every week. And it's specifically for highly sensitive people. And also when you sign up for the newsletter, you get a free guide that gives you a quick tool that calms the brain and the nervous system right away. And it's very, very helpful. A lot of HSPs have been sharing that helps them in so many situations when they start to feel anxious or nervous. Definitely recommend limiting the time that you guys, if you are having a lot of anxiety or stress right now, please stop watching the news. That is a huge stressor. And it doesn't mean that I'm saying that you that you don't know what's going on. For myself, I read the news, but you also have to be careful and pay attention to how you're doing. Like if you're really struggling with a lot of anxiety, you've got to be very careful about what you're taking in. And my courses also teach you about how to navigate that, thinking about a positivity tank versus a negativity tank and all that. Let me get caught up on some of the... Nikki says, how do you feel about using antidepressants until I learn the tools? Medication is a complicated topic because they're medications for sensitive people. Usually my first choice for a sensitive person is to learn the tools. Because you oftentimes don't need medication when you've actually trained your brain. The second thing I would look at is, can you look at some of these natural methods that I'm sharing from these other HSP practitioners, the Bach flower remedies, some of the herbs that the herbalist has shared with us. We tend to see less side effects and them helping a little bit more, because antidepressants actually only work for a small percentage of people in general, and they can often have a lot of side effects for sensitive people. But if you are somebody who wants to take medication, please, please, please work with a psychiatrist who understands the trait, not just getting this from your regular doctor, because your regular doctor doesn't have enough information often doesn't have enough information about mental health, and they sort of have a lot of information about they have a little bit of information about a lot of things. So if you're really going to put yourself on medication, I would definitely recommend that you work with a psychiatrist who is a medical doctor who has an extra amount of education specifically about medications. And on top of that, I would recommend that they know about this trait, because there's a lot of misdiagnosis that happens when medical or mental health professionals don't know about the trait. I also have a guide that I've created that you can give your doctor, you can give your mental health professional. That's also that's on the books page of my website. You can download that. It's something that you can print out and give to them. So hopefully that answers your course. Nikki, yes, you signed up for the brain training course. That's a good one to start with. So, oh my goodness, I cannot recommend that enough. A lot of people talk about within the first week or two they feel better, and join the community within that course. You can click on a link that'll get you into the community for free, and join that so that we can be there to support you. It's a really supportive community, and I'm there every day. So this would be a good time to do that. Becca says, I've just started the brain training course and already it's helping me cultivate what I want to work on for my growth. Wonderful, Becca. Thank you for sharing that. I think it's so powerful when we get to hear from other HSPs who are taking the course or who've taken the course. Roxanne says, just started reading your book. Can't wait to get into it. Oh, wonderful. The Empowered Highly Sensitive Person, How to Harness Your Sensitivity into Strength in a Chaotic World. That's my newest book. And you can also find that on the books page of my website, sensitiveconnection.com. You're welcome, Nikki. I'm glad that was helpful. And we're here for you. That's the most beautiful thing, is to be, so as I was saying, those three things were learn about the trait and start to practice these tools. HSPs say that it really within the first week or two, they already notice the difference. And be around other HSPs. If you don't have other HSPs in your life, you can join the Sensitive Empowerment community. It is so important to be around other HSPs. It normalizes our experience. It validates our experience. We start to be in a place where we start to feel like there's not something wrong with us and how we experience the world, because when we're only 20% of the population, and especially those of you that score very high on the scale of sensitivity like I do, like if you scored a 40 and above, you're likely an extremely highly sensitive person like me. And those of us that are in that category have more challenges, but also more gifts. And once we learn how to reduce the challenges, we access those incredible gifts, and the world needs you. The world needs more HSPs in the world accessing their gifts, and it's incredibly important. So you can find everything on my website, everything that I'm talking about, and I really invite you to explore. I just love hearing from you guys too. If you have specific questions for me, you can even leave voicemails on the HSP podcast, and I can answer your questions in an upcoming podcast too, for example, because I'm here for you guys and I really want to help you understand your sensitive system so that you can live in more balance. It's so important. So if anybody else has any quick last minute questions who are joining us, I'll take a moment to check on that. And um, you'll also see a lot of my blog posts have videos and lots of articles and lots of information. I share lots of tools even on the blog. But most of all, if you're only going to do one thing right now, I would say sign up for my newsletter, because then you won't miss out on all the new material I'm producing, because I send that to my newsletter, and you also have access to some scholarships for my courses and books and things like that as well. There's a lot of free stuff on my website. And then for some of the paid stuff, if you're looking for some extra support in that area, you can sign up for the newsletter and get a scholarship if you need it. So guys, take care of yourselves, okay? You are so valuable, so needed in the world. And I am living proof that you can go from a place of barely getting through the day in survival mode. I have absolutely lived in that situation. And I know how hard it is, and I think that's why I'm so passionate about what I'm doing, because I had never imagined when I was in that space that I could be where I am right now, that I could be in a place that is balanced and living well and taking care of my family and helping others in the world. I never would have imagined I could be in that place when I was in survival mode. And that's why I think because I've taken that journey and I've helped so many HSPs take that journey. It's kind of like maybe when we're in the middle of a jungle and we have no idea which way to go. I know which way to go for the highest sensitivity. And so the years of research and work with clients all over the world and in my courses and in my community, I've learned so much about this trait and how to thrive with it. And how to access these gifts, because what I know for sure as an HSP who's balanced in the world is helping the world in some way. It's just who you are. And when you're balanced, you have more energy to do that. And you don't walk around depleted and exhausted, and your health improves. So many things. I used to have a lot of health issues, migraines, and other kinds of chronic conditions, and everything is better when we know how to balance our sensitive nervous system. So I'm glad that was helpful, guys, and thanks for joining. If you're watching the replay and you have questions, I'll come back and check them later. Take good care of yourselves out there. Okay, everybody? Bye.